Hello, Peter. Welcome to the Builder's Mind podcast.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Thank you so much. I would like to start with I think that we're in this era of technology where we don't really need to have a developer or CTO from day zero until we have 100 or like more than 100 users, platform or app.
I think that's bold statement. I think, for prototypes, you don't need a team of developers, but it pretty much depends what you want to build. If you are building a bigger SaaS software, I still think you need developers, at least for now. But I think to just prove the concept, you can use just vibe coding tools.
Okay, great. I mean, just to prepare the stage, we're gonna build something in just a few minutes with a tool which you're building. So it's like launch ready type of product. But before that, I would like to ask, so kind of with this vibe coding and lots of tools like yours, Macaly and others. So this is good for prototyping, but it's not yet in the stage of actually, being working product, which actually can sustain itself having users.
I mean, it very much depends on also your skill as a user who is using Macaly. If you can prompt it in a good way, you can actually build a SaaS around that. So you can connect it to Stripe and all kinds of external services. But our goal is to aim to non-developers, and we can see that they have problems with how to specify the request. So I think when we pitch them what they can build, I think the most easy way for them is to do some presentational website or maybe some internal tool which could help them in their job.
That's perfect. So maybe we can just jump right away to Macaly. So what Macaly is, if you can a short pitch, and then who it is for, and what are the main value propositions that you're actually pushing for?
Yeah. So we could say that Macaly is yet another vibe coding tool, similar to Lovable or Bolt. Actually, the story is that I personally was frustrated by Bolt not shipping fast enough. And we were also pivoting from our previous startup, and accidentally we have infrastructure ready to build a vibe coding. So we see a lot of opportunities how to make it more interesting. The first one is it's actually agentic, so it's much more similar to like Cursor, but in the browser. And what I mean by that is the agent has tools which it can use, like it can connect to the internet. It can also lint the code. So if there is an error, it will try to auto fix it. So these are some differences when you compare it with Bolt or even Lovable. And we also wanted very much to have connection with GitHub, which I think currently Bolt finally also implemented this, but when we started it wasn't there. And me personally, I'm a developer, so I used Bolt and Cursor together because Bolt always generated like better front end, and then I wanted to move to Cursor when I started to build some sort of backend, but it wasn't very possible, or it was like bad workflow. So this was the first thing we fixed with Macaly. You can easily push your content to GitHub and continue in Cursor. It also works great on your phones. So a lot of times I'm commuting to my work by train, so I'm using also Macaly when I'm bored. So it's a lot of fun. And we also have this philosophy that non-technical people shouldn't be bothered by what Supabase or how to host the website. You shouldn't need to create your account on Netlify. Like it should just work. So we want to give this like easy way how to build software to non-developers. That's our goal.
Yeah, kind of personally, when I was using Lovable, I arrived at the stage of connecting with the database, and I was like, okay, where to do it, and then it was saying me where to do it, but then when I was there, I couldn't see that top, the subject line or kind of the title of how to do it, and then I watched some videos. It took me an hour to really figuring it out. Like when I was asking Lovable, it was just saying that, oh, go there. But I'm like, okay, if I don't know how to do it, just so you should do it for me. You shouldn't ask me to do that as well. Yeah, but maybe that's kind of the laziness of non-technical people.
Yeah, I mean, they just have some idea they want to build, and suddenly they must know something about Postgres, and suddenly they heard for the first time like they should do some migration. So I think that could be just like abstracted.
I think it will be amazing to build something, and then we can like chat more about vibe coding and everything related to Macaly.
Yeah, I can share my screen. It should be this one.
Perfect.
Okay, so we can definitely build something from scratch, and it will take some time. So I also opened some already built stuff. So this is the entry page. I think it's very much similar to all the other platforms. What's maybe like some cool feature, which I think we are only one doing it, is this like a brush tool. If you open it, you have this like cool canvas environment, which is supported, or it's made by TL which is a very cool company. And what you can do here is actually you can either sketch some prototype if you want, or you can upload images here and use it as a mood board, or you can even generate AI images, which I will do right now. We can create some presentational website for, let's say for kindergarten. So create logo for named let's generate it.
And do you think that, for example, image will be kind of a better approach than just a like simple prompt, or how do you compare it with the prompt text?
Yeah, what's interesting is that if you generate this image, it influences the design a lot. So we are using this like open AI GPT image, which is, I would say, currently the best model. It creates really nice illustrations, but it's kind of slow. But as you can see, it generate like I think for this use case, it's perfect. It's made for kids. So you can have this, let's say, logo, and then I could also select this image and generate from this selection like how the website could look like, just to get some inspiration. Create a website, use this logo. It's for kinder.
Because also I noticed that some of the web coders are using Figma or like Pinterest designs, and then they actually upload it, so
Yeah,
they have it much better. But also I have seen some people, they take the image and then they generate AI like kind of images, from that, and like kind of prompting, okay, just do this. So in the end, you are fine tuning it a lot, and then you just get the final one after 5 or 6 versions, and then kind of like you push that to your app, and then it will look very native type of thing.
Yeah. My experience is that when you use these images, usually get more. It's not that a generic kind of a website. So as you can see, it created let's say logo, and then how the website could look like. Right now, I can select the first image and export it to the chat, and I will export separately the second image as well. And when I close it, you can see that right now it's here in the chat, and the agent has access to these images. So what I can say here is that create a website for a kindergarten. Use the first image as a logo and get inspired by the second image. Create just the home page for now, and yes, just like that, I can run it. And right now we can discuss something. We have I would say 2 to 5 minutes until it's done.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, I was wondering, because at some moment, when I heard of Cursor, it was very interesting moment. Everyone was like, wow, you can actually I just asked the chat and then it generates code. So it was okay, wow moment. And then we saw Lovable coming, Xol, Replicate, and so many others. So my question is that, is building a vibe coding startup infrastructurally hard, or is it just an AI agent which you just link the API and then it just the foundation model does the work, and then you just have the kind of the layer on the front part?
You can definitely make it hard if you want to, but you can also use a lot of different already pre-built pieces and just connect it together. Basically, when I'm not obviously the LLM is crucial part which you need to just use for these kind of vibe coding tools. But then what's also very important is to have some sort of infrastructure where you can run the code. And there are few different startups. We are actually using E2B. They are also from Prague, Czech Republic. And for our use case, it's perfect. So when LLM is creating these files, we are like running them inside this like safe sandbox. And technically we are using Next.js. So for example, when you compare it with Lovable, their default template is a Wheat React, which is like nice that it's quite fast. But on the other hand, I saw many people try to build some like content-based websites, but it's in Lovable, everything is in JavaScript, so it's not very usable for Google, for SEO. But with Next, you can actually have both of those things. So it's really good for Google and SEO. You can also have your backend inside Next.js, so it can connect to the database and any other services like Resend for sending emails, those kind of stuff. So
can you just walk us through what happened in the background, and then also we see
it was quite fast. I didn't expect that. So at the beginning, it basically think about some design inspiration, what colors to use. And when I designed a prompt, I see that this is very important to generate like nice designs. So when this like LLM is talking about, what type of fonts to use, what would be like inspiration for this kind of website, it usually leads to much better designs from my testing. Then, as I said, we are using tool calls. So these multiple actions means that it's reading files. We are starting from some like empty template. So it needs to read the files. It knows what's there. This is very much similar to how Cursor works. And then it's using different type of tools for, replacing files. So it's creating these like sections one by one. We can see hero section, programs, stuff like that. Then we can see here that it runs the type checking. So that's very important. So the type checking like gives us the context if the code is actually correct. And if not, the LLM gets this context and it can auto fix it. We will do the same thing for CSS, because sometimes the LLMs is making errors in CSS as well. So it's this tool call, and the last one is actually pinged to this sandbox itself, so it knows that it's actually running. And at the end, it's just the summary of what it built. So if we see it, we can see that when I open this canvas again, it get inspired a lot. So it used this logo, it created this nice like shape here. It's talking about some programs. We have some testimonials, and that's like pretty much a simple web page. You can check if it's optimized for phones. Yeah, it seems like it's fine. So and from this you can obviously continue. We have very much the similar features. Like if you want to change some section and you want LM to focus, you can use this edit tool to, I don't know, click here and say add another item to navigation. And from here, what we can do, we can actually like publish the website with just one click. So we can actually try it. And so that's like pretty much a simple demo.
We talked about the database. Is it possible to kind of connect the like register with a simple database so that we can see how simple it is to
actually database, we are building this for 3 months now, and we don't have this like Supabase button. I also said we don't want to necessarily know people to know what's Supabase. So right now we don't have like super seamless connection to database. That's on our roadmap. So right now, if you want to connect it with database, you would need to have some account somewhere. Like you could use pretty much everything to use Supabase or SQLite or even MongoDB. That's still fine, but you need to do it yourself. Just in terms of publish it here, and it's available on this domain, and it's possible to change the domain here. But in terms of database, I would continue like I'm a developer, so I know what to write here. But when I think if there would be a non-developer, I think it's like these people would need some sort of like recipe or something, like how to do it. For example, I would continue like, I need a database, please install Prisma, and we gonna use SQLite. So I would, for example, use this. But as I said, I know what to use, so it's like unfair advantage.
Because, for example, for non-developers or like people who use vibe coding, I think kind of like simply what they want is just to build something simple or like something complicated and then just make money with it. So like they don't want to actually deal with spending days on to like build something, but so they just like want to build fast, ship it fast, and then earn money. And then if it doesn't work, just go to the next idea and then build something else. So I think this is kind of the new era of building, that you see lots of micro apps or micro SaaS coming up every day by this vibe coders.
Yeah, definitely. I think also all of these platforms are pretty much like we are waiting for, always better models. So currently it can build, okay, marketing pages, small SaaS apps. But most of these platforms are not suitable for, larger apps. Like when you open anything slightly larger, it's not pretty much working. But that's something I hope will change in the future. I'm not quite sure if it's like 6 months or 2 years, but I think it already started just a year ago. We probably didn't expect that this would be possible with like all of these like nice designs, and I don't need to necessarily have special designer for that. So it's moving super fast. So I have a couple of different like already built websites. For example, my favorite use case is to actually use Macaly as a presentational software for creating slides, because I kind of hate creating slides, but with Macaly or I guess any other vibe coding tool, it's quite fun because you can just say what you want to present. So this is my like favorite party trick when I showing this. I'm actually doing most of the time some sort of full screen, and at the end I always show the UI and say it was all built in Macaly.
It was interesting to see the first slide that how to pronounce Macaly, That was also my question.
Yeah, that was actually more like a joke for Czech guys. Yeah, just maybe for the podcast, like Macaly in Czech meaning is like to work hard. So that's just the reason why I explain it. Okay, some other, that's also a lovely use case. We are opening our marketing website inside Macaly. So for example, we just changed our pricing a couple of days ago, and with Macaly, like it's pretty easy change. And then I have connected this project to the GitHub. So I just sent a pull request there, and it's super easy to merge it.
But also, like a common problem that I hear from no coders or kind of like people who use these tools is that sometimes the longer you chat with the tool, let's say with Macaly, then at some point, the Macaly is becoming confused, and then actually it's gonna do things which you don't want to do it. So, and then people say that okay, it's better to restart a new chat, just so that it's like fresh, it doesn't have lots of memory. How do you kind of handle this confusion of the tool with lots of prompt and chats and all these things?
I generally agree that, let's say, after some implemented feature, it's usually better to create a new chat. But we cannot, count with this because these non-developers don't know it. Like, I think that's pretty challenging, like how to do it when someone would have still the one chat and already sent hundreds of messages. We are currently changing it, but we are not doing something like overly complex. What we are doing is that these like answers from assistant or from Macaly, they are usually quite long because there is a lot of code and stuff. And just a very simple thing to do is to like just summarize what the Macaly did. So I'm always think about it like when I would read it, when you would print it on a paper, what happened, you should understand it. If you understand it, there is a high chance that LLM will understand it. Yeah, I think this summarization like helps a lot, but it's not necessarily infinitely scalable. Then what you could do, like there is so much, like so many ideas like how to solve it, but I guess there would be also something from the providers itself, because everyone is trying to solve this, and when everyone is trying to solve something, usually the providers come and they will say, hey, do it this way, or they will have some new API similar to OpenAI where you don't need to solve it at all. Yeah, so for example, this demo just showed that you can also have some API. This one is connected to OpenAI. So when I say something here, hello there, it should just like respond. So, and that's like because it's using like on Next.js. So Next.js is also like server side framework. So I think it's more flexible than just Vue.
Thank you so much, Peter, for such a nice demo.
No problem.
So, I mean, like something that I noticed while you were building the kindergarten web page is that you mentioned that you, as a developer, you know how to prompt, and you know, kind of you have the advantage of knowing more things or how to ask the questions from Macaly. So my question is that who do you think benefits more from vibe coding? Is it actually non-technical people that everyone is targeting, or actually it's technical people that they know what to ask, how to ask, and then get things faster?
Yeah, I think that's a tricky question. I know a lot of technical people which they are behave like AI is still bad, and I will not use it. I don't trust it. It's like when you are a developer and you are open to AI, and you know how to how to phrase your request, and then you have superpowers. You are usually much faster. So I think they benefit a bit more. But on the other hand, it's so hard to sell something to developers because they have so many tools: Cursor, Windsurf. Now they are those like CLI tools like Cloud, now Codex from OpenAI. Like super hard to sell something to developers. So I think non-developers, it's much bigger group. And when I show them Macaly and they will build something, they are usually like, they feel so good. They're like, now I'm like superhero, I can build anything. But then, when there is a problem and they are in this wipe debugging phase, it's usually a bit frustrating. But I think they are more like, they feel more empowered than developers.
That's true, yeah. Because also, like for me, this building like landing page in 5 minutes was like, wow, is it like really me doing this? Until you face, the problem with the database and other things, and then you start self-doubting, that okay, what do you need to do? And then you need to watch more videos to learn that. So I think like there is a journey and a path to vibe coding and getting, the product ready to actually launch it publicly. So, but yes, so we talked about the backend and the front end. So are you focusing more on the front end, and how do you do the backend?
Yeah, like currently it's more front end. I think it's just make more wow effect because it's quickly visible, and we don't yet have these like nice integrations with some database, so it's seamless. On the other hand, generating backend has some like challenges, like how to visualize it. Also, you always need to think about how to make it so simple that these non-technical people will understand it. So yeah, I think it's still open question how to do it, but backend is already there. It's based on Next.js. It's using Node.js, and we are actually using Vercel as a deployment provider. So everything that works on Vercel, it's a serverless platform, will work in Macaly. Yeah. So right now, if you want to have some connection with, I don't know, Recent or anything, you can just like type it, and then you need to try it. But I think that it would be very nice to have some visualization, like how the backend is structured, but I'm not sure yet how to do it, like from the design point of view.
Speaking of design and other like providers, I see that Figma, for example, launch, similar website or like landing page builder, and then Canva and other ones are also like coming in with their new tools. So I'm like wondering, how do you see the competition, rolling out, and how do you, kind of think of this as a Macaly, and maybe kind of like similar question is to Lovable and other tools out there, if like foundational models will roll out the same feature, so what will happen to you all?
Yeah, I think Figma roll out so many new products. I try to access this Figma. What's the name? Figma Create or something like that. This like a vibe coding tool. It wasn't available for me, but I think Figma will still be for designers. So I would not expect non-developers to jump on Figma train and just use it. I think much more interesting position is from Canva. because Canva is huge. Canva is already for non-developers, and they are creating, I don't know, postcards and all kinds of stuff there. So if they will do it, if the execution will be done right, they will be probably huge. But right now, the biggest competitor is probably Lovable, then maybe Bolt. But a lot of people, a lot of non-technical people, is saying that Bolt feels too technical for them. I think it's mainly because of the design. So yeah, I would say the biggest is like Lovable, and there is like so many players which are not that visible. For example, I know and admire this guy. I think he's doing it maybe just himself. It's called Base 44, which is like quite cool, I think, and he has some success, which is nice. I also think that the whole market is huge. When I speak to people in Czech Republic, a lot of them don't know Lovable at all. So we are still at the beginning. So I don't necessarily think that Lovable, for example, Lovable will kill everyone. I think there could be more players, and yeah, we will see how it goes. I think right now it's a lot about marketing and distribution. The product is still super important, but I think the distribution and marketing is even more important right now.
Yeah. Speaking of distribution and marketing, so I saw that you guys got to 1K MRR, and so if you can explain like how that journey was.
Yeah, so we launched Macaly last week on Thursday on a product hunt. It went well. We ended up like second, but we also did 24 hours live stream of how it went. We also have guests, speakers. It was fun, and actually we got like just in 3 days from like 0 to 1K MRR, which we didn't expect. That was great. We have over 3K new signups. So I think that's just awesome. It makes the whole team feels better about what we are building. On the other hand, we have these new problems, good problems like observability. Platform is not really scalable, but we didn't know, because when we didn't get these many users, it went well. So right now we are fixing some stuff. Also, we are hitting Anthropic rate limits. We are using Anthropic, and Anthropic itself is saying that they don't have capacity to upgrade us, which is kind of frustrating. So yeah, it's about this, and right now we feel that we have some momentum, and we want to continue with this.
Yeah, big congrats on the product hunt success and also 1K MRR. So I would like to know, kind of, as you're selling to consumers, so it's a B2C product, and you have to do a lot of marketing and like different type of sales than B2B. So I'd like to answer, like, what are some of your marketing strategies that you are thinking? Because okay, like you just launched it recently, but then like how do you see going viral and becoming a brand?
Like, we are in this fun phase where we need to experiment what's the best distribution channel. So right now it seems like it's LinkedIn, but I would like to definitely try channels which I'm not that skilled in. I think, like, for example, TikTok could be interesting, but I'm not a TikToker, so I need to find someone. I personally love creating free tools or some like useful tools. So for example, I would like to build a free tool where you can put your LinkedIn profile and we will create a personal website for you. So this kind of stuff, it's usually long term. It's good for SEO, and people will share it, and then you are trying to like convert them to Macaly. So yeah, I guess we need to try many different things. I also think the webinars could be a way. We just started with things that don't scale, so there is so many hackathons, like vibe coding hackathons in Prague, and we attend all of them, and we also always show Macaly, and most of these people gave us good feedback and they start using it. So yeah, I think we need to right now experiment and find one promising channel and then 10x the channel.
With this kind of users that you have now, where are they coming from geographically?
It's like a lot of them is from Czech Republic, but it's also United States, and right now also a lot of people from India. So yeah, it's around the globe.
But also kind of, are you thinking of some other ways of marketing? Because now I see that, for example, Lovable I see their YouTube ads, and I think it's kind of like crazy expensive marketing that like they're like using, and then influencer marketing and all these things. So do you feel that, like you'll kind of follow the same path, or like are you looking for some more efficient ways of
Yeah. Like we don't have like VC money, so we need to be more, let's say, smart about it. I definitely think that influencers could be interesting, especially the niched one. Doesn't necessarily need to be like a superstar influencer. I would like to also try it. I don't think we will do ads for now. Like maybe just ads for the webinar, for example, so as many people as possible can sign up. But yeah, just like that.
Okay, that's great. Moving on to like the last part of our podcast. So I would like to know about your startup journey. So how did you end up in building world? And I have seen that you have actually built it so many startups previously. So
yeah, so at the very beginning, we started when we were 20 years old. I think the usual starter for a lot of these people, including us, was creating a web agency. So we were a web agency creating websites. We kind of hate it, and there were a hackathon where we attended, and we created a tool called CSS Hat, and it was a plugin for Photoshop. It was for front-end developers, and it speed up their work a lot because they could get design parts from the Photoshop. Like, I don't know, 10 years ago, designers used Photoshop for creating websites. It sounds like a bit crazy now, but that was the status quo. And so we created this, and it was like immediate success. We from that point we dropped the agency and we focus on these kind of plugins. I think we created over 20 plugins, and then we realized we need to create some sort of subscription type of business, and we ended up with Avocode. And Avocode was a SaaS tool for designers and developers, and designers can hand off their design through Avocode, and developers use it instead of Photoshop, Sketch, and they just get what they need for to code the actual website. So they got the sizes, colors, fonts, stuff like that. That went quite well. We have around 2 million ARR, and after I think 8 years, we sold the company to a US company called Saros. It's a huge company focused on actually building a no-code tool, and we were there for 2 years. Then I want to create something new, so we were creating Lengtail, and Lengtail is still a thing. It's a platform for managing prompts, and it's also observability platform, and we are actually using it for Macaly right now. But the problem with Lengtail was that it didn't scale that fast. So we pivoted to Macaly this year in February. And what's also interesting that the same founding team is right now in Macaly. So we are still like working together, which is nice because we know each other, we know what's working or what's not. And we are trying to be small right now. So we are just like 5 members team. I like it because everyone is busy with everything and we can move super fast.
yeah. What are some of the repeat things that you learned from building over the last years, and what are some of no repeat things? From the experience.
Definitely focus a lot more on marketing. We love crafting the product. It's something we really like, but at the end, when no one knows it, it's like this, it never happened basically. So definitely focusing a lot on marketing. Then I think not overcomplicating things. So most of the time, the simplest things is the best. And even from the Avocode startup, we created something which was unnecessarily complicated. So I think that's something I'm trying to avoid now. And also saying more frequently, saying no to stuff. So really think hard about what should be inside a product, because there are so many, ideas what you could do there. But if you would say to everything, it would be a mess.
Yeah, but like, do you have a methodology of like to what you say yes?
Yeah, I think it's called vibe decision.
If you like it, you say yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot about your taste and your intuition. It's also a lot about how many people will say it. So when when I heard something, I don't know, 5 times, I pay more attention. Yeah, just that.
Yeah, I mean, if you allow yourself, after years of experience building, you feel that you're a builder now that can actually succeed, and kind of that you have been trained for years, and now is the time to actually like push the needle way more forward than what you have done already.
I think it's super useful to have high level knowledge about how the whole system works. So when you want to build with vibe coding tools, it's super useful to know that APIs usually return JSON. It's good to know what's JSON. It's good to know that how the whole request stuff works. What's the REST API. So you don't need to actually, be expert in that, but just have this high level overview will help you a lot in just instructing the agent to do some work. So if you just say, hey, I want to build this and I need the API to return JSON, if you can say it like that, it's usually better for the LLM than if you just say something super vague. So yeah, I would still try to learn something, but as I said, you don't need to be a developer. You just need some high level understanding. And then what's usually work for me is that when I build something more complicated, I want the LLM to create a unit tests for the code. And then a lot of times I can see that it did a lot of mistakes. I didn't catch it with my eyes. So I'm not sure if this is something which could be done automatically in Macaly, because it would be slower a lot. But I think it's really good, especially when you are building something bigger. These tests are awesome because it gives you some benchmark, right? So a lot of times with vibe coding tools, you build something, you test it, it works, and then you continue and it suddenly stop working, right? But these tests can give you some level of confidence that it's still working. It's not like there is no regression. So yeah, I think that's also a way how to make more stable stuff. I would also learn about the basic security stuff, like API leak, like API keys leaking, was problem with vibe coding platforms, and maybe some XSS, like what's XSS, SQL injection, maybe sometimes. And if you just then ask, Macaly or Lovable or anything, like, is there any, XSS problem? At least you have some better chance that it will catch something. I would definitely ask about API key leaking, because that should be easy for LLM to spot. So yeah, just like that.
Yep, because the other day I saw that one guy was really like writing that he built something, he launched and it went great, and then he got so many people actually editing his web page, and then he was like just like lost the control of his own tool. My next question is that what has been the worst advice you have ever received?
Wow, probably something like focus on B2B sales.
I think everyone is saying that, like common advice, like just focus on bits.
Yeah, we that was the thing with Langtail. We realized that it's a hard B2B sales, and we are just not like super good in that. Because it's totally different way of doing business. So I think we always like more when we build something and people just like it and want to use it. It's more organic.
The founders that I talk, most of them are either in the US or kind of like thinking to move to the US. So my question is that what's your thought of moving somewhere, either US or somewhere else? Also, kind of my second question is that how do you feel of being in Czech Republic?
So we actually sent YC application. So that would be nice way to get to San Francisco. I also know a couple of people which like were in YC, so they said they can give us some recommendation. So we will see. I think San Francisco is like obvious suspect. It's like you can meet so many cool people there, better investors. It's just like so much better environment for startups than I don't know in Prague. So yeah, I think we definitely want to be there sometime in San Francisco. In terms of Prague, Prague is like awesome for a living. It's so safe here. If you see a Lord of the Rings, I think we are the Shire. So a lot of people is here like they are like happy with what they have. They are not rushing, which is not very it's not very inspirational for startups. So I would say the community around startups, it's not that huge. I think I know everyone who is doing some sort of startup in Prague. So yeah, it's not like the best place for startups, I would say, but it's great balance. Like if you have a family and you want to work here in terms of how much stuff costs, it's good balance here.
Also, I think it's like growing ecosystem. So yeah, it has been growing like really good in the past years. So my last question is that what do you do on the weekends?
So I have actually 2 kids. So my weekend is usually predefined. I usually go with my kids to to zoo or something, or just we are doing like kids related games.
I think that's
So yeah, I'm trying to chill, not to work every day, because that's not the way how to live, I would say. Yeah, so it's like family life.
That's nice balance. So I encourage my kind of our listeners to try out Macaly, and then if they have some questions, like they can write to you, or also like they can comment. I have been like testing it for some days, so it's really cool, and I do kind of encourage others to test it out and like give it a shot. But thanks a lot for doing this, Peter. It was really nice talking to you, and like just like doing a live demo and build something here.
Thanks, it was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. See you in person, hopefully. Bye bye.
Bye.